One now on TV1. Let's go.
It is my honor to be able to throw Donald Trump over the top in the delegate count tonight with 89 delegates and another 6 for John Kasich. Congratulations, Dad. We love you.
That was the children of Donald Trump putting him over the top, giving him the necessary delegates, 1,237 needed to secure the Republican presidential nomination. I'm Roland Martin. We're broadcasting live again for day 2 of the Republican National Convention here in Cleveland. And we were told yesterday that the Never Trump camp was possibly going to create some friction on the floor. Well, that simply did not happen. It went as usual as they went through the roll call, went through the states, and as you saw there, it was the state of New York, the home state of Donald Trump, that put him over the top, that gave him the delegates needed to become the presidential nominee. He did speak to the convention last night via satellite from Trump Tower in New York. He will address the convention on Thursday night. Tonight here at the convention, Mike Pence, Indiana governor, who is his VP pick, will address the convention as well. A number of people spoke last night, including the children of Donald Trump. Here's a recap of the speeches from Cleveland.
I've been around the Clintons more than anybody should ever have to be. A couple of years ago, Bill and Hillary camped out in my state, telling anyone who'd listen why they ought to vote against me. Tonight, I'm here to return the favor. I'm here to tell you Hillary Clinton will say anything, do anything, and be anything to get elected president, and we cannot allow it. Who's looking out for us? It's not Hillary. I've had my differences with Barack Obama, but I'll give him credit for this. At least he was upfront about his plans to move America to the far left. To the far left. Not Hillary. She lied about her emails. She lied about her server. She lied about Benghazi. She even lied about sniper fire. Why, even she lied about why her parents named her Hillary. So I ask you a simple question. At a moment when so many feel betrayed by their government, why in the world would Democrats put forward such a candidate? Hillary has changed her positions on so many times, it's impossible to tell where the conviction ends and the ambition begins.
For my father, impossible is just the starting point. That's how he approaches business projects. That's how he approaches life. Whether it's teaching his granddaughter how to swing a golf club or tackling the toughest negotiations, he's always fully committed. That's why the person who had never run for office before stood on the stage 11 months ago in this very arena with 16 professional politicians. And this week, that same man will stand before you as our party's nominee for the President of the United States of America.
Everyone is equal. Everyone has a place. No one is written off, because there is worth and goodness in every life. Straight from the Declaration of Independence, that is the Republican ideal. And if we won't defend it, who will? So what do you say? What do you say? What do you say that we unify this party? What do you say that we unify this party at this crucial moment when unity is everything? Let's take our fight to our opponents with better ideas. Let's get on the offensive and let's stay there. Let's compete in every part of America and turn out of the polls like every last vote matters, because it will.
As to Hillary Clinton lying to the American people about her selfish, awful judgment in making our secrets vulnerable, what's your verdict? Guilty or not guilty? In Libya and Nigeria, guilty. In China and Syria, in Iran and Russia and Cuba, and here at home for risking America's secrets to keep her own and lying to cover it all up? We know exactly what 4 years of Hillary Clinton will bring. All the failures of the Obama years, but with less charm and more lies. Tonight, those of us in this hall and the people at home, it is our obligation to stop Hillary Clinton now and never let her get within 10 miles of the White House again.
This is a nation where our Pledge of Allegiance says we are one nation under God. This is a nation where every coin in our pocket and every bill in our wallet says, "In God we trust." So are we willing to elect someone as president who has as their role model somebody who acknowledges Lucifer? Think about that. If we continue to allow them to take God out of our lives, God will remove himself from us. We will not be blessed, and our nation will go down the tubes. I'm proud to support Donald Trump, an extraordinary businessman, the right leader for a time such as this.
All right, folks, joining me right now from Cleveland to chat about what we've heard thus far. David Swerdlick, assistant editor, Washington Post. Rhonda Fahmy, she was a Bush appointee serving the Energy Department under President George W. Bush. Also, Jason Johnson with TheRoot.com. All right, folks, day two. Rhonda, how are we still dealing with plagiarizing the speeches? Look, I mean, first it was Melania Trump. Now all of a sudden, now you have Donald Trump Jr. Then you have a conservative writer who says, well, it wasn't plagiarism because I wrote it.
Yeah.
But
he wrote it and he helped with his speech. So it doesn't technically focus on plagiarism. Look, a mistake was made in day one. We certainly admit that. But if plagiarism or charges of plagiarism is all you can come up with, day two, we knocked it out of the park.
Rhonda,
Chris Christie did fabulous. And you're going to compare email scandals and illegal violations of security clearances to mere allegations of plagiarism. Roland,
I tend to agree with you that the night two plagiarism wasn't as egregious as the first night.
Yeah.
It was the speechwriter's words, and he acknowledged it.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
You said that we acknowledged the mistake of the first day,
Absolutely.
but it's not 100% clear
Nobody
the Republicans did acknowledge the mistake.
Well,
and to me, what was egregious, beyond what everybody has already said about the Michelle Obama plagiarism, was that it was plagiarized from Michelle Obama, someone that Republicans repeatedly criticized for 8 years.
Right.
Exactly. Look, I got to say this. All of this is an example of us like sucking in the lake effects air of Cleveland, okay? Because how this plays to people on the outside, all they're talking about, the memes are still going. Plagiarism still matters. I agree. I actually thought that Donald Trump Jr. gave the best speech last night. He was better than Christie, didn't put me to sleep like Carson. But the fact of the matter is the people who aren't hardcore partisans, Republicans or Democrats, they're still thinking plagiarism. It still looks like a mess.
And the deal is here. The reality is that's not what you want the public talking about, especially if it's in social media. I got to do a Ben Carson. Lucifer? Really?
I'm not surprised. It's Ben Carson.
Why are you surprised?
Why are we surprised? I mean, he says these kinds of things all the time. Remember, this is a doctor who didn't know the 4 food groups. This is a doctor who told us that the pyramids were for grain. This is a doctor who couldn't tell us if he stabbed his friend or didn't stab his friend or brought him back from the dead. So nothing that comes out of Ben Carson's mouth surprises me at this point.
There's a weird way in which Dr. Carson and Donald Trump share the same trait. They're both interesting guys who draw attention to themselves, but both not having run for office before, they're learning on the job. And sometimes in these speeches, it shows.
Rhonda, could Speaker Paul Ryan possibly do more not to mention Donald Trump in his speech? He sort of reminded me of the Chris Christie speech in 2012 when he never mentioned Mitt Romney.
I know. Well, look, I mean, I think Paul Ryan, we all know he's in a very difficult position. He certainly has a constituency. And, you know, I think what he wanted to do is reassert his position as Speaker. He wants to be elected again. And he was reaching out to Republicans far and wide to do that. You know, he is in a tough position. So he did what he could. He did his best. And to be very honest with you, neither Paul Ryan nor Mitch McConnell nor any one of the sitting Republican senators or, you know, really establishment Republicans were well received at all last night. I mean, people really weren't interested in hearing them. They were interested in hearing the different people, the Chris Christies and others who, you know, aren't part of that typical establishment.
And being from New Jersey, clearly Christie, it was very painful for him not being here as a VP pick.
Oh, no, you know what? That's all rumor. Look, Chris Christie is happy in whatever capacity he could serve this particular nominee.
As
and by the way,
Mr.
he's still governor of New Jersey, the great state of New Jersey. He's still doing a great job as the executive.
What's the approval ratings there? About 27%?
Look,
yeah.
He's still running that state. It's not about approval ratings right now. It's about his ability as an executive to run that state.
It's really about approval ratings.
Know.
This is a guy who won his re-elect with 50% of the Latino vote and 20% of the African-American vote. That Chris Christie no longer exists.
And now he's known for hostage memes behind Trump. And the issue is, I can't understand why he wouldn't be upset. I think he would actually be a better VP than Mike Pence.
Look, hey, newsflash, everyone. Watch Chris Christie. If he becomes chief of staff in the Donald Trump administration, he will be the most powerful chief of staff you've seen in a very long time. And more powerful, I'm predicting, than the vice president.
And watch the bridges.
And now she's really scaring us to death with Chris Christie as chief of staff. All right, folks, hold tight. When we come back, we're going to hear from some Republican delegates also speaking to Chris Christie. I asked him the question, should African Americans vote for Donald Trump?